Now I want to invite up to the stage our fearless founding executive director, Lillian McDonald. And while Lillian's coming up and the panel can go comfortably take their seats at the lunch tables, I want to share just a little story about Lillian. So Lillian is one of these people who I remember from our days in TV news. I don't know how long she was at Fox 9. I was there 2 years. We had about a year together before she went to fight bioterrorism for the state. And she was always one of those people who, was right there. If Lillian was on the scene, you wanted to make sure, your spine just straightened out a little more, right? And so I was glad she was on our team and wasn't at the competition. And she has, as now a friend, and she's become a client, I have watched Lillian start up this organization. I can't believe it's been 10 years. I'm so proud of her, and I'm really excited. If you don't know her already personally, you've got to get to know her. But congratulations, Lillian, and I can't wait to hear from you.
I have to tag on to that. My friends in television never really understood when I left television what I did, because it wasn't really a bioterrorism job. I left to become a communications person for a health department in local public health, and from there history is here today. So thank you very much, Rashini. And I think the Stand Up Straight was because part of my job was to get things done. So we get a lot done. But thank you very much, Rashini. I want to thank our panelists too. Great discussion. Our sponsors for making today happen. Our guests and friends of ECHO. I may be the founder, but I'm the figurehead. There were a lot of founders who sat at the table, and I'm proud to be able to stand here today on our 10th anniversary. There were many days I wondered, will we make it to 10 years? And here we are today. So I have my Kleenex just in case. I trust you'll understand. There's been a lot of work and a lot of well-deserved thank yous. How I would like to proceed in this short talk is to take a look back, to give you a snapshot of what might be in the future, and then to spend the bulk of this time thanking all of those who believe, because that's the reason why we're here today. So I hope you're also enjoying today's lunch. As I reflected and put this speech together, I started thinking, it's apropos that all of you are seated at dinner tables today, family style. Maybe you know the people at your table because you invited them. Maybe you don't. You just met. But the dinner table has always been ECHO's key ingredient. And it's a metaphor for how we do our work. So as I reflected, I thought, a dinner table. And those in this room, and I see you now, Mao, know that when we get together, I always say, everybody has a seat at the dinner table. The dinner table is a simple family system. We all grow up with it, no matter what culture we come from. It's the first place where we learn our role in a system, whether we're the father, the mother, the brother, the sister, the grandparent, the guest. We all know where to sit, and we all know how to manage the meal. The dinner table is also a place for intimate debate about our day, our challenges, our hopes, our fears, and our dreams. 10 years ago, ECHO set a table for 9. 7 different cultures, a founder, subject matter experts, mostly in government, and an issue to discuss. In the beginning, we debated health, safety, and emergencies, whether or not to get a flu shot, should we immunize our children, whether holistic care was enough to tackle breast cancer, the stigma of depression from a war-torn country, how to handle an anthrax attack, take cover and how to recover from tornadoes, how to navigate healthcare systems. Would there ever be enough medicine for legal and illegal families to treat a pandemic? By 2008, ECHO's followers wanted us to talk about the whole person, not just how the health and safety of a person would exist. So ECHO's mission added civic systems to the conversation at dinner. We question, how can you be healthy or safe when you don't have work, your kids need care, and the mainstream world isn't keeping pace with the changing faces on our main street, legal or illegal? We shape programs on how to vote so the voices of new Americans would count. We navigated the legal system, education, and banking systems. We outed the shame that all cultures face around domestic violence. Each person at the table, at Echo's table, offered an opinion, and we learned why Southeast Asians do one thing, Africans another, and Latinos something else, just to fit in and get by. Subject matter experts would inject the Western way, and the cultures added new ways with the shared goal of helping everyone find a way and find their seat at the table in Minnesota as employees, as parents, and community leaders. We disagreed, we learned, and in the end we co-created a new way of including cultural diversity to every issue we debated, and then we shared those stories by replacing mainstream with Main Street faces. Conversations from the dinner table raised awareness because our cultures got visibility. And on Echo TV, Echo Radio, Echo Web, social media, toll-free phone, ELL classrooms, community events, volunteer cultural service units, more and more and more. Over time, Echo's ambassadors became the bridge to cultural and communication gaps we see in many systems today. And we invited others to our table. More cultures wanted a seat. We added Russian, Korean, Chinese, Kurdish, Croatian, and we had to turn away some communities because Echo's capacity is too lean, even today. In 10 years, Echo has produced 210 original programs with our partner Twin Cities Public Television. That's roughly 100,000 households statewide watched our work around their dinner tables. And that's just in Minnesota. 6 other states carry our work on Hmong, Latino, or African community-based TV stations because they don't have an Echo, but they have New Americans. Echo's work is also broadcast in different ways on city, county, cable systems. They pick up our work and they share our work, all for the same reason. And some just come to be part of our training teams. We have SPNN, CTV, KFAI Radio. They're friends, all of our friends, including the Minnesota Broadcasters Association. Last year, 30,000 people downloaded Echo Media, ELL materials, fact sheets, and whatnot from our website in many languages. Every year, almost 10,000 DVD copies go out the door, and they appear in clinics, classrooms, and elsewhere. When Echo exercises for emergencies, our recorded phone line lights up, and we have volunteer bilingual teams all willing to stop their everyday duties to translate, record, or door knock as part of our founding emergency response mission that's underfunded but still part of our traditional system. It has to be. It's the only network for these communities. Echo's daily programming, our ambassadors, they'll use their visibility now to be the voices in a crisis so that immigrants, refugees, and integrated new Americans can find their seat at the table in sometimes complicated emergency systems. Emergency response was our first call to serve. So, where is Echo headed for the next 10 years? Well, our ability to navigate the ever-changing needs of our communities will continue, and of course with your support. There are more stories to tell as our cultures grow and call Minnesota home. And how people receive information is changing through technology. I'm proud to say Echo's helped shape that visibility, but we'll need to leverage and deepen our strategic partnerships to sustain our work. We have only scratched the surface, but I trust Echo will find its way. That original idea founded by a public health need has proven diverse communities can come together, find their seat and their role in the issues that shape our future together. Echo has set the table, and it's time our communities lead the shape of our work for the next decade to come. As I look back, I'd like to thank some folks for believing in Echo and for supporting us for these last 10 years, and here's how I'd like to do it. There's too many people to recognize, but categorically, I'd like to single out some folks and stand up in a group, and they've helped shape Echo's world in so many different languages. So what I'd like to do is just recognize the groups, and if you'll hold your applause to the end and help me thank them properly, that would be great. The Association of Minnesota Counties is where Echo is housed. They became our fiscal agent. They gave us a space to rent. We have 4 full-time staff, independent contractors, 68 spokespersons, and the traffic in and out of the building sometimes is a little bit of a problem. So I owe them a big thank you. It's where a lot of our dinners are held to get our work done. So Julie Ring, I'm not sure if you're here representing AMC today. You were going to make it, but I also know it's a busy day at AMC. Okay. Partners. Our agency partners distribute our programs through clinics, classrooms, schools, and workplaces in the metro and rural areas. We have 200 agency partners. Logistically, many of these partners can't be here today, including our founding public health partners who are at a conference in Breezy Point this week. But combined, all 200 agencies spread Echo's word. If you're an agency partner, please stand. Public health. Cue public health. All right. Twin Cities Public, stay standing for a second with me, will you? Thanks. Twin Cities Public Television helped Echo blaze the trail 10 years ago. We may have had the idea, but our ambassadors had the will, but to make it work, we needed TPT to help us find the way, to tweak the technology, the studio, and the staff so our languages actually looked and sounded the way they're supposed to be. So, Twin Cities Public Television, please stand. We have a revolving door of volunteers and interns each year from the University of Minnesota, Mac, Augsburg, Cates, St. Thomas, and many more schools. And I got to tell you, we have a fantastic staff. They're remarkable, some of whom started as ambassadors or interns in our work. They ended up working for Echo. So if you're intern, volunteer, staff, please go ahead and stand, from the past or from the present. It always takes a board of directors to lead a nonprofit. Every nonprofit has to have a board to navigate the change, keep me on track, which isn't easy to do, pave the way for growth. We've had many wonderful board leaders in the past, and they volunteer their time day in, day out, every month for meetings and more in between. So if you're a board member, please rise, past or present. And then our sponsors, you make lunches like this possible. Some have funded our programs through the years. Special thanks to you, including table captains and others who pulled together today. So my applause to all of you standing. And now, before I finish, I would just like to acknowledge the real heroes of Echo's work, our ambassadors. When Echo first started, I didn't know a single culture other than my own. We recruited 9 people, all first generation from 7 different cultural communities, and today we have 68 ambassadors from a dozen different cultures. These folks are Echo. It's their faces, their voices, their insights that make a difference in our communities, in different languages, and not just on the air, but into the mercados, mosques, and markets. And about half of Echo's ambassadors took time today to be here. And I ask that they stand to receive a gift, which is on the table. So table captains, if you could grab the glasses, that'd be great. So I wanted to give ambassadors a special gift to say thank you. We put Echo's logo, which is typically round, and we turned it into a heart. So it's on the glass, and the table captains will present those to our ambassadors while they're at their tables. Ambassadors, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. And now if everyone will raise a glass, a toast, to 10 years. Cheers.